Hello everyone, it's May the 14th today, and just a few days ago Jupiter entered Aries. You certainly feel the energy difference. I do. It's quite wild how all of a sudden there's enormous amounts of energy available. Everything seems to get into high speed and pushing through hindrances and obstacles. It's a beautiful energy. It's like the cavalry approaching in a way, and we are the cavalry. It is that time now when we have to take a stand, draw a line. If we haven't done so yet, now is the time to be just who you are. Don't feel shy or be afraid that whoever will be punishing you, that is no more happening. There is an enormous possibility with that Jupiter ingress into Aries, and that's where Jupiter will be for the next few months, turning retrograde and then eventually going back into Pisces, but that's another story that's so far away. So let's focus on this chart. What stands out is the moon here in Virgo, in the Aquarian dwat between 12:30 and 15, and also in a narrow conjunction with Orcus. Now Orcus is about transmutation, going really deep. It's the same energy as Pluto on the feminine side, on the more receptive side. Orcus has to do with ritual and ceremony and with vows, in that sense, to a vow to do the right thing, to be true to yourself. That's what it really is in Virgo. Virgo, the sign of care and health, of particularly being your own parent. That's one of the important expressions of moon in Virgo. It is that energy. We are able to self-nurture. And the opposition here to Astrea, yes, that is the challenge, to roll your sleeves back and get involved and do the right thing, clean up, be the one guy, the one gal who's doing the right thing here. Because this is the year of revolution, really. I mean, if you haven't felt it yet, it definitely has started out that way. Just go back here to this chart of the year of the water tiger, which is the most important new moon of the year. That's why the Chinese chose it. There's no surprise there. And the Chinese, I mean the ancient Chinese, that goes back more than 5,000 years, probably back to way before recorded history. China and India are the two countries with the oldest records, with all these wisdom teachings which are age old, probably tens of thousands of years. So there's real wisdom there, and this is what we saw in February, on the 1st of February actually, Mars rising. I spoke about then and there and said with Pholus and Quasar particularly, this would be a year of conflict, of confrontation, and of doing the right thing, doing finally what we have been waiting and procrastinating for such a long time with Quasar, who is a creative energy. When Quasar is activated, this usually is a very difficult experience which will eventually lead to a breakthrough. So all these planets together, that was foreseeable. This would be a difficult year, and now you see with Jupiter entering Aries, this is doubled down. It's the same degree again. And I mean, it was to my surprise when I rectified the chart for the Ukraine for the independence declaration, which, as we in the United States too, this is a moment which is used and which shows most clearly the intention of a nation. It's not yet the full manifestation of independence, but it is a declaration, and that matters. And this is the chart I came up with, and you see again the 555 here with the sun at 055. This is a very particular. The 5 in abundance is a wild energy, hard to tame, can go really run amok and do crazy things, and that's what we see happening. And I mean, if you're aware of the history of the Ukraine, the short history, they're only 31 years old as a nation. I recommend Oliver Stone's documentary Ukraine on Fire, which was done in 2014, 2015, so long before our present crisis here. So that gives you a bit of the history. The Ukraine had really difficult first years, and this is why I chose this degree. It shows in the secondary progression. That's when the sun, actually the progressed rising here is running over Uranus, the Black Moon and Neptune. These were the years between 1991 and roughly 2000, and by 2001 or 2, the Ukraine finally had started to get its head above water. There was lots of corruption, lots of confusion, and going on in these first 8-9 years, and that is definitely reflected in that. So anyway, I did rectify this chart, and it seems to really work, just even for that reason. Now, one more chart I want to show you. This is another important moment in this year's energy shifts, which will be coming on July the 30th with the lunar nodes moving backwards into hexagram 2 and hexagram 1, the south node, which is the dragon's energy here on the north, on the south node. Sorry, I say it wrong. The receptive on the south node, and the dragon's energy on the okay. Sorry, I'm telling you a little bit of a puzzle muscle here. So okay, let's just say it again. The node will enter the south node will enter hexagram 1, which is the dragon's energy, and this will be having to be transmuted into the hexagram 2's energy, where Uranus is, which in itself is a contradiction, which is the receptive. So it is bringing down to earth, planting a seed and renewing everything. That's what it basically means. The number 2 is the receptive, so we are extremely receptive to higher frequencies, and we are transmuting the dragon's energy, if you want. It's also the resource we are drawing from. That's both. It is that complex nature of the south node, of on one side it's too much of something, on the other side it's a powerful asset if we work with it in a good way. So anyway, this will be kind of entering the initiating the core period of this year's transformation, when the lunar node is in these two hexagrams, which will be for the months roughly August, September, October or so. I haven't exactly calculated yet when it will cross the line of 13 degrees and 15 minutes. That's when it will be. So anyway, I just want to say here, you see it again, 5:55. There's certainly no surprise here. I mean, it is a surprise, but seeing the bigger picture, and Quawar here and Pholas here at the Ukrainian nation's ascendant. Absolutely, it just resonates on all levels. Now, let's go into what happens right now and in the coming few days. The Sun was conjunct the lunar north node just yesterday. And again, the lunar north node is the direction of evolution, where we're going towards right now this is in hexagram 23 and has been so for the last few months, as I say, will be up to July the 30th. And the south node in hexagram 43, which is breakthrough, and on the north node side it is collapse. A really nice pair, collapse, or the caving in of the roof, fractalizing, falling apart. And I guess that's what we see on all levels. That's what our society is doing right now. That's why there is this immense opportunity in the moment to take charge and go into the lead. Let me show you also in the human design how this looks right now. This is the planets as they are from tomorrow on, when the sun is crossing the 24 degree and 30 minutes Taurus mark. Let me just bring it up here. Okay, where are you? Here. Okay. So this is 4323. This has been on for the last few months already. You see, this is a powerful channel. The north node here 23 and the south node. It's one of these few axes in the zodiac which are making a channel. So when the nodes or whatever, the sun and earth, are in these hexagrams like right now, this is a powerful sign that this is a time of individualism, of coming to your own conclusions. The central line of channels here are all about individual experience. It's the knowledge circuit, and it's highly emphasized here also with the sun and earth here. Earth here in 14 and the sun in 8. That's where it will be, this opposition between 2430 Taurus and 00730 in Gemini. These are the coming 7 days. Adding on to this 4323, which is from freak to genius, it is a very unique perception of reality and ability to share it, to express it, as the throat chakra is all about manifestation and expression, and the throat as being the seat of voice is definitely central of speaking, expressing, putting things into a wave form which is understood by other beings. So interesting now, this moment when the direction of evolution was recharged by the solar connection here, when the sun exactly aligned with that place where the moon is crossing through the ecliptic from south to north, rising through the ecliptic. That's where eclipses happen, and naturally we have two eclipses in that neighborhood, the one which we had 2 weeks ago and the other one which we will have tomorrow, when the moon will be joining into this axis. So the long and short, the north node and the sun together, this is a moment of resetting our direction as a collective and as individuals as well. So what stands out is here Juno at midheaven, partnership, teamwork, very important in Pisces, with lots of emotional investment and of caring for the collective in a way. It's Juno in Pisces is very compassionate and caring to the point of being of neglecting oneself. So this is a very important aspect. Then a very not aspect, a very important side note, to be very careful to not exhaust yourself, to know your limits, and have enough rest. Both water signs, it's really that energy of the water year coming through now. Water meaning emotions and feelings, and that is the real driving force of existence, to be clear in that sense. So that's, if we come from our emotions, then things are just starting to make sense and the energy flows naturally. So it is allowing our emotions, is another way to say it. However, we have to also be careful. I mean, allowing to feel our emotions, that's how I should say it. Allowing to recognize them and honor them. That doesn't mean that we outrightly express and have no censor agency. We shouldn't just flood our environment with our emotions, but we should be self-aware and using these forces in a very conscious way. That's what it really means. Now, why this is an important moment shows the next chart, which is then tomorrow, Sunday, when Ceres will enter Cancer. And look at that, it's almost the same chart. So these two moments again are linking into one another, clicking and reinforcing each other. The Ceres in Cancer naturally is all about care, self-care, care for others, care for the planet. It is that understanding that we're all in this together. And naturally, the whole situation in Eastern Europe and Ukraine is on everybody's minds. And this is where things are definitely playing out right now. When we look at this chart, this is just, this is just the next one here on my display. I didn't, I think let me see if I have that one too. I was just curious if I calculated that one at all. No, I didn't, but I'm curious now myself. Let's quickly do it. It's very fast here. I just want to see how this moment looks in the capital of the Ukraine. So that would be 3 hours later, and in Kiev. Come on, here we go. Okay, so here we have it. That is that moment when Ceres enters Cancer in Kiev. And well, what stands out here is certainly that Venus Chiron conjunction, and at 14 degrees here in Aries. And if we look at the chart of the Ukraine, that is perfectly squaring the black moon Neptune. So it is about healing all those wounds, all those reckless behaviors we see happening. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, wherever there is true reporting, and I suggest go to the Oval Circle on Telegram. It's one of the best channels to get up-to-date and reliable information on what's happening over there. Also RT, but as this is mostly banned, so if you get to be able to watch and read what the RT news network shares, that's also pretty accurate. All the other news stations naturally are totally under control of the dark side, which is I mean, it's obvious who the dark side is by now. I guess just look at whoever else goes to the Ukraine and gets their picture taken, and it's a real media circus. And just judge yourself. I mean, who are these people who go there? What have they said before in other circumstances? It's pretty simple to make the math and see who is really in the right place here, on the right side of history. So yes, the excuse me, let's go back here to this chart, which was my next one here in the lineup. The Venus, okay, I have too many charts here again. Here it is, okay. The Venus Chiron conjunction. Okay, in Greenwich again for the whole world, with Sedna here at the 10th house cusp, and the moon opposing Uranus. Yes, it's getting really we all feel it. I guess that's what it really is. It is touching everyone, what's going on. Nobody is excluded anymore. Nobody can just stay on the sideline. This is a deep and powerful and profound visitation of the collective shadow. That's what we will see here. And if we do it right this time, this might be the last time we have to go there. Hopefully it will be. I think it will. So that's why everything comes at such intensity. I mean, we have all the social media and all the eyes of the world. There's so many people who are now doing direct broadcasting, sharing on these different social media channels. So everybody really gets a very blunt and direct picture if we care to see it. I mean, it's there's footage which I wouldn't even want to look at myself. It's very, very dark, but it is necessary to be exposed. That is what is truly going on. That's why we see this chart here so strong. And if we go now to the next chart here, this is just boom, 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 one day after the other. You see, that's where we get to the total lunar eclipse. Certainly one of the highlights of the year 2022 of this water tiger. Please go back to my earlier recordings where I show you the connection between the solar eclipse and this lunar eclipse. They're all working together as one big structure. What stands out here is that Sun and Moon at peak eclipse are exactly in the global charts ascendant and descendant, the chart for Greenwich, which I will show you in another video, that this is really a location which speaks for global events, which shows how things are expressed in a way what we feel on the whole planet. So when an eclipse central point is within the horizon axis, this means it's highly amplified. And with Pluto here up in the 10th house, this is a time of change which is coming, huge changes, big changes. And we are in the final degrees of Capricorn here. It is a time to wrap up. It is the last station to retrograde Pluto had here in the sign Capricorn. It's the next time it will turn retrograde, it will already be in Aquarius in spring 2023. So this is really a last call which we are on right now to get to the bottom of that sign Capricorn, to resolve and shift and change. And Capricorn is the sign of Saturn. Saturn is about structure and crystallization. So this is reshaping, restructuring the whole reality, what we will see in the next year or so. And that retrogression, which occurred pretty much in sync with the solar eclipse, you can go back to my earlier videos, as I say, where I speak about that. I can't really build everything into each recording, they're already too long. So this is now the lunar eclipse for Kiev, and naturally what really jumps to eye is Saturn here right in the center of the sky, and t-squared by the eclipse. That t-square naturally is valid for the whole planet. Everybody feels that Saturnian pressure, that Saturnian it's a shaking you through to the core. Saturn is very difficult. It is a call to recognize reality as is, a kind of a hard thing to do, to come out of illusions and recognize the true nature of things. Then naturally we have the black moon here and Ceres rising. Ceres, very much a planet the Ukraine is representing, as Ceres is also connected to food and particularly grains. It's the earth goddess which nourishes us, and Ukraine and Russia are the two countries where most grain exports are coming from. That's their strength, agriculture, and you see Ceres here in this corrected chart is up high. It totally resonates with that importance. So then let me see if there's something else I should... Okay. Yep. So anyway, it's that intensity, also the sun approaching Sedna here with Mercury retrograde. Yes, these final 2 weeks of May will be intense, super intense. It's really boiling down to the essence now. It's time to get real, time to realize what truly has happened on this planet. And it happens in lightning speed. People are waking up left and right. Everything is so out of the equilibrium that it has to come to one's mind that something doesn't add up, and this is sure what's happening. So just do the right thing, help this evolution as much as you can. This is now the midpoint between the lunar eclipse and the Ukraine's independence chart, and what stands out here is it's a full moon here, so if we go into the Ukraine's chart once more, we see they're also close to a full moon here, 0 Virgo and 22 Aquarius is the moon in that chart. And if we then do the midpoint chart, then we get that same full moon again, full moon energy. So this is a 2 month climax, if you want, because this is moving half the speed as the transits, the midpoints. However, the midpoints are really showing how this present energy is felt, is perceived by the Ukrainian nation. The 0 cardinal or first degrees cardinal cross here shows that this is a time of new beginnings which is starting. No surprise here. And also if we look at the overlay of the two charts inside the Ukrainian chart and outside the midpoints. You see the sun here on the black moon right now in midpoints. So yeah, it really boils down now to the essence. As I said before, the big black shadow is coming into full limelight. It has to be displayed to the whole world. There's no other way. And then out of this will come the resolution, step by step, by people standing up and no more going along with the narrative. As happens already in Bulgaria, where they were storming the parliamentary buildings. In Sri Lanka, it happens too right now as we speak. All these things you can't really hear on mainstream, but the global revolution is definitely in its beginnings. I think the culmination will be around August. It's another 3 months of building up to that place, but there's definitely, we are throwing over all these dark forces. That is what's happening this year. This is very exciting and very frightening on some level if you're buying into that. So it is a time of transcending fear on all levels. You can do that also as a personal exercise if you want. Do things you were afraid of before, even if they're just little things. But take this energy which is available right now and experience it in your own way. It is truly remarkable what will be possible. Not easy, but powerful, and you will be very proud of yourself. Yeah, it is also that the moon here in this midpoint chart is on the south node. It's a reconnection with the past for the Ukrainian nation, to find their roots, really what truly matters. And well, I mean, you see the moon here, 22 degrees Aquarius. That's where Saturn is, more or less. Saturn has 3 exact conjunctions with the Ukraine's moon this year. Another indication that, yes, this is a difficult year for that nation particularly. Then, well, I keep it at this for now, but I will just make another one because this is really a super intense stretch. On the 17th we will have a heliocentric Venus-Mars conjunction. Then on the 25th we have a heliocentric Mars-Saturn conjunction, and the heliocentric alignments are always the big new beginnings. I will remind you, on November the 2nd, 2020, on that day prior to the American elections, that's when Jupiter and Saturn had their heliocentric conjunction, which happens once every 20 years. So that was a clear sign this would be a new beginning, and it is definitely so. If you're seeing what all came out of that moment, we are really just in the starting phase of everything being exposed. If you haven't had a chance yet, I strongly recommend you to watch 2000 Mules by Dinesh D'Souza. Okay, so that's it for now. I will do another one speaking about all these coming changes. Also, the Mayan calendar is entering a new 260-day cycle on the 19th of May. So we are on this last stretch of finalizing, of bringing things to a culmination between now the 14th and the 18th. These are kind of wrap-up days. And it is super exciting again, as I say, and I can't wait what's coming next. But yes, first we have to face and go through the challenges. Thanks for watching, and talk to you soon.